Good evening, and welcome to the 50th anniversary of our Land of the Winners Awards banquet. Over the years, there have been some of the sport's greatest champions step to the stage at this gathering, and tonight we'll be adding to that history book. I would like to salute the champions that have come before us, and a special bit of gratitude to the division's first director, the late Bob Daniels, and truly the First Lady of Division III, his wife Eileen, who together helped lay the foundation for making Division III truly the land of the winners. Our thanks to the Danielses. We have a special champion among our midst, a national champion. We're particularly proud of that fact, and we have a presentation of our national champion jacket that we would like to make. Mia Tedesco, if you would step forward, our Super Gas Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series national champion. I hope the Tedescos have brought a big truck tonight, because I think you're going to need it. It is my pleasure to welcome the retiring Racers for Christ Division III chaplain, Glenn Kreider, for our invocation.
It's at this point where we pause to remember those that we had the privilege of spending a lot of time with at the racetrack, but their time has come to pass on. So I'm going to read the list of names, and then we'll pause for a moment of silence before I pray. The first would be Jerry Arnold, 7-time comp eliminator champion and 2000 national champion. Richard Feldman, Division III Superstock racer. Mike James, Ohio motorcycle drag racer. Richard Rich Feldman, Superstock racing and record holder. Don Westbrook, longtime starter at the Mid-Michigan Motorplex. Dennis Dunlap. Mark Lyle, NHRA official starter. Morris Smith, former track manager at Beech Bend. John Cooper, former president of the IMS and Daytona, good friend to NHRA. George Phillips, December, let's see here. I think I'm going to need my glasses for that smaller print there, Jay. George Phillips, former National Dragster editor and longtime NHRA employee. Roger Gustin, and these are all in December, by the way, Jet Car Pioneer and Super Chevy promoter. Tim Hyatt, drag racing clutch expert. So pause with me before we pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the blessings of the friends that we have made over the years. And Lord, we pray for those that have gone on. Lord, we pray that your spirit would be with their families as you comfort them, Lord, as they are missed, and also their friends. Lord, we thank you for the blessings that we've had here in NHRA Division III. This past year, you have blessed us greatly in many ways, too many to mention. And Lord, I thank you for the great privilege of serving as this great organization, Division III, its officials and its racers. I thank you for the privilege of spending 16 years as a divisional chaplain. Lord, I pray your blessing on each one here and all that goes on tonight. We also want to pause to ask your guidance and direction on Scotty Wilson as he comes in to be the divisional chaplain. Lord, we pray that you would bless him to make as many friends as I've been blessed to make and more. Lord, just thank you for this time in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And I might say that there are times in life that we have to make decisions that we really don't want to make. And in my situation, it's a realization that I just no longer could keep up with what needs to be done. I know I only look 20, but I'm actually going to be 66 here soon. But I thank you all for the privilege of serving. Jay, all the people at NHRA, thank you for the privilege of serving these past 16 years. It's difficult. Man, I'll tell you what, love you guys. God bless you, and have a Merry Christmas. Go away. Go away.
Glenn, I obviously speak on behalf, I think, of all of our division family, but I'd like to present you this plaque of appreciation presented to Glenn Kreider in appreciation of your faithful service to the NHRA North Central Division, your friends and NHRA North Central Division family.
Thank you again, everybody. I've been truly blessed to serve this past 16 years. Thank you.
Again, welcome to the 50th Annual Land of the Winners Awards Banquet. Before introducing our Master of Ceremonies for this evening, I personally like to extend a big thank you to you for those that took part in the 2016 season. Our friends at Lucas Oil, Forrest, Charlotte, Morgan Lucas, and joining us this evening, Kevin McWilliams and the Forbes family, the Coughlin family and JEGS Performance, TJ and Megan, the folks at Summit Racing Equipment, sponsors of our Summit Racing Series and Summit Racing Junior Drag Racing League, Mike and Karen Spitzer, the Spitzer Race Cars, Steve Schmidt, Phil Love from Schmidt Competition Engines, the staff, of course, at Brodex, sponsors of the Top Sportsman Series, Rob Mosier and his crew over at Mosier Engineering, Todd and Earl Datweiler, T&E Auto Haulers, who have provided the division with support trailer since 1984, great friends of the division. And we also like to thank Dino Dave Golf Carts, who joins our group of supporters this year, providing our division with a golf cart to utilize throughout the season. We certainly couldn't do it without them, and we'd like to thank them for their support here in the North Central Division. Please give them a big round. We're going to get this program started, and there is nobody that's been doing it any better than our announcer of our Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series this last year and a half, I guess. He has become a part of the North Central Division family, and it is my pleasure to welcome our Master of Ceremonies tonight. Please welcome Bob Unkefer.
Well, thank you, Jay. Thanks, everybody. I just want to say one thing before we really get started with the night's festivities. 27 years plus now, I've been hacking on a microphone somewhere at a drag strip across the country, and I have never in my life been welcomed to a group the way I was this year. I live in Kansas City, the heart of Tornado Alley. So what does Jay do for the first race of the year and my first official race as Division III announcer? He imports a tornado. Not just a tornado watch, a warning. We've got a tornado warning. I want to thank you, Jay. I can't believe you went to that length to make me feel at home. But feel at home I have this year. You guys have been wonderful. I've had a chance to meet some of you. Some of you I haven't yet. It's a slow process. There's like 500, 600 of you per race, and one, maybe two, sometimes three announcers that we get to share with. So it takes a little bit of time to get out and see everybody. Become friends with numerous of you on Facebook. Saw some of the contingent down in Noble at the race down there doing the Division 4 stuff. So I just want to say thanks. Speaking of Mr. J, I also want to go back to the Wizard of Oz thing again for a moment here, and I'm going to call him the great and powerful Oz. I learned yesterday that Jay Hullinger has not missed a Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series event since 1987. 175 of them in a row. That the great and powerful Oz, if you will. Well, let's get going. Got some trophies to pass out, got some hardware to give away, got some jackets to present, got a few checks as well. Would like to pay special recognition to our 2016 member tracks. For over the past years and couple of days, they've been working hard to keep up with all the new and the great and what's coming and what's transpired to make the next year even better. We want to thank all of our member track operators, and if you would, if you're a member track operator, please stand, if you would. So go ahead and stand up. And everybody recognize those folks that keep this sport going. I've been on the racer side of things and pulled into the gate and raced all weekend, and I've been on the announcer side of things and worked in race control and worked behind the scenes. And those of you that just race, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it. You need to take a day out of your life and spend a day in race control or helping to put on a race. It'll give you a whole new meaning and concept to what goes on behind the scenes to make your racing activity safe, fun, and keep cars going down the racetrack. So again, a round of applause for all of our track operators. You have no idea what they do for you. Speaking of our tracks, we have 4 special member track awards that we would like to present. Jay, if you would, come on up. The first award is presented on behalf of National Dragster, and it's in recognition of conscientious news gathering and the ability to produce accurate and well-written copy, along with quality photographs, furnished for publication in National Dragster. And this year, the National Dragster Contributor of the Year Award is presented to Crossroads Dragway, Tami Peters, for outstanding performance in the race news reporting for the 2016 season. Tami is here to accept the award along with her husband Randy, and they operate the Terre Haute, Indiana facility.
I'd just like to thank you, Division III racers, for coming out to the tracks and giving us something to write on, and for reading the magazines when there's so many other ways you can see your results and things. Huge thanks to my Crossroads family of racers and to my home family, Randy, Nisa, and Zach. And Nisa took over the role of photographer this year. She was a huge help. She did an outstanding job, and I'm just proud to get the award. Thank you.
Our next award is in recognition of outstanding participation in recruiting and encouraging NHRA membership among its racing community. And they do this through the National Dragster Be a Winner, Be a Member program. This year's award is presented to Coles County Dragway. Accepting is track operator Rod Veland. Coles County is located in Charleston, Illinois. Rod?
Well, thanks a lot, everyone. You know, you can't do it without a bunch of racers. And over at our track, Coles County Dragway USA, it's a big goal to meet the Summit ET Finals. And in order to go to Summit ET Finals, you got to be a member. So we get lots of members from that. So thank you.
Online voting on NHRAD3.com by you, the racers, and the fans has determined our next two awards. The first one being the North Central Division Track of the Year. NHRA Summit Racing Series and JEGS Super Quick Series host tracks, Byron Dragway. Coles County, Crossroads Dragway, and Kil-Kare were the four finalists. The winner of the NHRA Summit Racing Series and JEGS Super Quick Series Division Track of the Year, Kil-Kare Dragway.
All I can really say is wow. Really didn't expect it. We've been up and down quite a bit. I've got probably one of the best track crews I could ever ask for. Support from racers, support from everybody that's involved with what we do. I'll try to make it short and sweet, but a year ago I lost my dad, and I set out last year at this banquet last year that I was going to go out and win this for him. So I want to dedicate this to my father. And then also lost someone out of my life here recently that makes you realize sometimes we work too hard for our goals and we sacrifice a lot. Pretty sure she knows who she is, and all I can say is hopefully it was worth it. And at the end of the day, also want to dedicate this to my boy Mason. I give up a lot of time being with him, and at some point he'll understand it. And just remember those that are at the tracks every weekend that are working, or whether you're racing, there's a lot of people that you need to thank at home. So thanks to everybody that voted for you, or for us that is, and we'll see you in 17.
The North Central Division Track of the Year for the Mellow Yellow and Lucas Oil Series host tracks. Our three finalists were Summit Motorsports Park, in Norwalk, Lucas Oil Raceway in Indy, and Beech Bend Raceway Park in Bowling Green. And the winner of the North Central Division Track of the Year, Mellow Yellow and Lucas Oil Series, Beech Bend Raceway Park. Dallas Jones coming up.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody that voted for Beech Bend, and also the ones that didn't vote for Beech Bend. I'd like to thank you. Certainly a pleasure to take this honor, and we try to do better next year.
One of your trivia questions tonight dealt with the junior drag racing program, and that's next on our agenda. Started in 1992, and I'll never forget watching Vinnie Knapp bring out the Castrol GTX painted junior dragster at Englishtown Raceway Park that year and thinking, wow, that's really cool. Where the heck were these things when I was a kid? But that being what it is, it's now 2016, and the Junior Drag Racing Series has certainly blossomed to an incredible level. And you look at those that are coming up through our ranks next, those that are in our ranks now, and all I got to say is the kids that are coming are tough, tough, tough. And we can show that tonight with the three junior champions that we're recognizing this evening. Our three Eastern Conference champions, if we could have you come to the stage, please. Cody Hofberg, Callie Martel, and Austin Alvey, if you would, please. Junior dragster racers can qualify at their local NHRA track for two major conference championships in the NHRA Summit Racing Junior Drag Racing Series League. The Eastern Conference is held in Bristol, and the Western Conference held down in Tulsa this year. There were over 500 competitors at the event in Bristol, with 3 of the 8 age group champions coming from here in the North Central Division. Our 10-year-old NHRA Summit Junior Drag Racing League Eastern Conference champion, Mr. Cody Hofberg.
Wow, what a year. I would like to thank God for making all of this possible, my parents for all their help, my brother Ryan, who is always there for me, even when he doesn't want anyone to know it. I would like to thank Tom and Molly Stillwell. They own the car I drive and are always there to help me. When I found out I was going to be driving the JEGS car, I knew we were going to win a lot of races. Tom and Molly are like godparents and junior dragsters. They have been doing this for 23 years, and I get to bring their, as well as my first Eastern Conference championship home for all of us. Thanks, Tom and Molly. I would like to thank JEGS for helping all of their junior drag racers at National Trail Raceway. I also want to thank Brian Basil and Basil Race Fuels for all of their great Sunoco fuel. I was hoping they would still sponsor my race fuel since it was his son and one of my best friends I defeated in the final. That is the only bad thing about racing. Friends or family, one of us has to lose. I would like to thank Pure Power for an engine that always seems to perform. I would like to thank Bristol Dragway and all of the employees for a week of smiling faces and a lot of fun. Also, NHRA for making the junior dragsters feel welcome at the racetracks, and Summit Racing Equipment for all their help and support of the sport. And last, I would like to thank anyone that I may have missed. Thank you.
Telling you, the kids that are coming up are tough. The 12-year-old NHRA Summit Junior Drag Racing League Eastern Conference champion, Callie Martel. Callie?
Hello everyone, my name is Callie Martel. I would like to start off by thanking NHRA Division III, the Junior Dragster Racing League, my crew, my family, and my home track, Summit Motorsports Park. Without any of you, we wouldn't have accomplished this. Thank you all. This has been an incredible season. On top of winning the Eastern Conference Finals, the NHRA Junior Dragster magazine awarded me the top performer for the month of September. And before all of that, we were in 11 final rounds and won 8 of them. We raced points at 2 different tracks in Michigan and Ohio and finished second at both tracks. In July, we won 5 races at 5 different tracks in 3 weekends. Wow, my crew did some serious driving in the RV that month, but I did the hard miles on the track. Thanks again, everyone, for all your support. I can't wait for next year. Have a great night.
Five races in a row. Wow. All right, now we'd like to welcome our 15-year-old NHRA Junior Drag Racing League Eastern Conference champion from his home track at Ohio Valley Dragway, Austin Alvey. Austin?
Well, I want to start off by saying thanks to my mom and my dad, and also my brother. I want to thank my engine builder, Ronnie Smith. I want to thank the Bohannon family, and I want to give a huge shout out to the best crew chief in the world, Jay Smith. Thank you.
Each of the conference champions received a Wally, a jacket, and a junior gold card. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our 3 Eastern Conference champions. We would like to thank Ohio Valley Dragway for being a great host of this year's NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Junior Drag Racing League North Central Division championships. Track champions or top point representatives from member tracks participated in special Sunoco Race Fuels Race of Champions in 3 age group classes at the event. We would like to have our 3 Sunoco Race of Champions please make their way to the stage now. Ava Hamilton, Walker Thompson, and Ashley Cole, along with Brian Bazell of Sunoco Race Fuels. Folks, if you would, please. Along with the Sunoco Race of Champions and the runoff for the Division Junior, the Division Junior Drag Racing title, racers and families enjoyed a huge Papa John's pizza party. And our thanks to Papa John's and fun races for unique Louisville Slugger baseball bats. Hey, we're in Louisville, why not? Speaking of baseball, How about that all Division III World Series? Cubs, Cleveland, pretty good old series. Gotta give it. And no, Jay, it's not too tough for this Royals fan to give accolades. I love good baseball. Please welcome the 6 and 9-year-old Sunoco Race of Champions, Ava Hamilton.
Good evening, everyone. First off, I would like to thank the entire staff at National Trails and the Midwest Junior Super Series, and also Division III staff. I can't say enough about the dedication from my team, from UB to Aunt Jane to Austin and Shelby, and a very special thanks to my mom and dad. I would also like to thank Brian Basil of Basil Family Racing and Basil Race Fuels. His help and expertise was invaluable, as well as the very consistent and reliable motor from Ron Hubble and our half-scale junior dragster and clutch from RPC. The same needs to be said for Reds Automotive, JEGS, Sunoco Fuels, Tim Davis, Hamilton Rentals, and Bilco Mini Storage for their sponsorship to our team. Although Huddleston Performance is not a sponsor, Thomas Huddleston was a great help when we needed him the most. I would like to have a big shout out to Jeb and Johnny Bullard for their help and support. All this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for my dad and UB. Thank you.
We'd now like to welcome our 10 to 12-year-old drag racing Sunoco Race of Champions winner from the host track, Ohio Valley Dragway, Walker Thompson. Walker?
First, I'd like to thank my family, Mom, Quentin, Chloe, Colton, and especially my dad, who makes it all possible. You're my motivational speaker, crew chief, and biggest fan. I want to thank my hometown track, Ohio Valley Dragway, where I've made great friends and wonderful memories. Thanks to Jonathan Trimble and Derek Lohorn, who pitch in and help us out. Thank you, NHRA, for putting on great events throughout the year. Thanks to everyone for their support. I can't wait until next race season. Thanks.
The great and powerful Oz. Your 2016 Sunoco Race of Champions winner in the 13 to 17-year-old category for a second year in a row. Crossroads Dragway's own Ashley Cole. Ashley?
Hi. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for all that He has done for me over the years. Through anything, I believe I could really do anything. I'm honored to be standing here representing Crossroads for the second year in a row. Tami and Randy and the whole crew have been really amazing to me, giving me these opportunities. I would like to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to be racing for the past 9 years. This is my last year in junior drag racing, so it's kind of exciting to be ending with such success. I'd actually like to thank my brother because I would not be standing here without him. I actually ended up blowing my motor right before first round of the race that I won, and he was in the semis for his fun race and had to give up his motor so that I could run this race to win. So he did a really good thing for me, so that's one of the reasons why I'm up here. I'd also like to thank my grandparents and my friends and my boyfriend for all of the support for being able to be here. I'd also like to thank my sponsors. Cole's Towing definitely helped us out all season, 2T Screen Printing, and Deary Automotive. I can't wait to be with all of you guys coming up. Hopefully, if my dad will give me a spot in his super gas car.
Each of our winners received an engraved Louisville Slugger at the event, and tonight are presented with their Super Eagle Trophy and Sunoco Race of Champions jackets. Ladies and gentlemen, your Sunoco Race of Champions, Ava, Walker, Ashley, and Brian from Sunoco Racing. That's a lot of hardware there. That's good looking stuff. Hey, it's now my pleasure to introduce the 2016 North Central Division Junior Champions, and if we could have Maddox Tanzillo, Caleb Burns, and Ryan Lauterbach come up to the stage, please. Representing National Trail Raceway is our 69-year-old division champion, Maddox Tanzillo. Tanzillo.
Oops. I'm a little nervous, but my dad said, think of everybody in their underwear. Wasn't the best idea, but it works. I'm a little nervous, but excited to be here. I have a lot of people to thank. First, I'd like to thank my parents, brothers, especially my older brother Logan, who taught me how to drive the big end and win races. I would like to thank Destiny Taylor, who helped me the day I won the divisional race, Tanzillo Racing and the Lauterbach family, JEGS and National Trail Raceway. I dedicate this win out to my grandpa, who is fighting cancer. I am looking forward to moving up to 890 next year. Thank you.
My apologies, Mr. Tanzillo. Our next champion also raced for National Trails Raceway. And I don't know if you've been keeping track or not, but this is like the 4th junior champion from National Trails tonight. And he's picking up his 2nd straight into 12-year-old Division III championship. Please welcome Caleb Burns. Caleb?
"2016 was a great year. I definitely didn't think I'd be up here for 2 years in a row. I would just like to thank my mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa for all of their support, and also all of my friends in National Trail Raceway. I would like to thank my sponsors, Junior Dragster Parts, Jobs Insurance, K-Wood Insurance, and Fredericktown Marathon. Then I would like to thank Mike Boss and Carl's Racing.
After going through 7 rounds of racing, he was able to claim the 13 to 17-year-old division championship, and he did it for Coles County Dragway. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 champion, Ryan Lauterbach. Ryan?
First and foremost, I need to thank my sponsor, Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service, the business that my grandparents started over 30 years ago. Without their support, my opportunity to race at all of the events that I attended would not be possible. Next, I need to thank my family, my parents, Matt and Diane, and my sister, Callie. Through their support, I have been given the opportunity to race. Besides, who else is going to buy the cars and engines for me to race? I appreciate the NHRA and everyone that supports the Junior Drag Racing League. I would like to recognize Rod and Donette Veland, the owners of my home track, Coles County Dragway USA, for their continued support of the Junior Drag Racing. I also need to thank Ronnie and Jody Lee for running the Junior Drag Racing program at Coles County. Last but not least, I need to recognize Dave and Pat Beimfort, along with their family, and Antron Brown for making the Protect the Harvest Midwest Junior Super Series one of the premier junior drag racing series in the country. The level of competition at these races has had a positive impact on my driving skills. Through this series, we have became friends with people from multiple states, and it feels like we are all one big family. Congratulations to all the other champions tonight. Thank you.
Our drivers won their division championships and received their wallies at the event. Tonight they received their division champion jacket and their junior gold card. Congratulations to Maddox, Caleb, and Ryan, our NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Junior Drag Racing League division champs. Jay, why don't you take over for a moment?
Thank you, Bob. Our next category is the JEGS Super Quick Series. And this year marked the 28th season of our Super Quick Series. Once again, a dramatic finish down to the wire to determine our season champion. 6 racers headed into the season points final event at Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis, part of the Fall Classic National Open, with a mathematical chance for the crown. A special feature within the series is the Quick Fuel Technology Shootout. The year-end race features the season's top 8 qualifiers based on points. Our congratulations to first-time shootout winner, Jacob Back. We're going to be recognizing our top 3 finishers. Of course, we had 174, I believe it was, total that earned points throughout the year. We'd like to recognize them. We'll be bringing up our champion for tonight's presentation. JEGS, of course, is sponsor of the series, and they have been for the past 17 seasons, and we're looking forward to an upcoming 2017 year. Our third place was decided with a tiebreaker. He started out the season with a runner-up showing in Indy, qualified for the Quick Fuel Technology Shootout, and wound up as your third place finisher. We'd like to recognize Kyle Camp. This year's runner-up and a number of late round finishes had just 2 rounds out of the top spot heading into the season finale. No doubt he'll be on a top contender in 2017. Your JEGS Super Quick Series runner-up from Silver Lake, Indiana, Christopher Stein. And our champion. Hopefully your table got at least one of the trivia answers correct. Please welcome your 2016 JEGS Super Quick Series champion, Cristy Morgan Back.
I think the kids showed me up. It's been a great year. It's an amazing experience. I first want to thank God for making this possible, my dad, Ray, for bringing our whole family into this, and for myself and my brother, who's raced for years. My mom for supporting us and being our backdoor support. And my kids, Logan and Lindsay, they're great racers and for being our crew chiefs. My husband, Billy, for making it possible to race as a family, and for him letting me use his car this year. And last but not least, the NHRA officials for being there. Thank you.
Despite not making it to the winner's circle during the season, Cristy had runner-up showings at Gateway Motorsports Park and Beacon Dragway in Paducah, and headed into the season finale at Lucas Oil with the points lead, and of course left as the champion. Certainly our thanks to JEGS, High Performance, and the Coughlin family for their continued sponsorship of the series, and again, we're looking very much forward to the upcoming number 29 season. We'd also like at this time to recognize the JEGS folks for their continued support across the board of NHRA sportsman racing, a huge supporter of NHRA drag racing at all levels, and this past year expanded their support of the JEGS Sports Nationals that were held Memorial Day weekend in Bowling Green, Kentucky. On behalf of NHRA, and I know I speak for Dallas Jones at Beech Bend Raceway Park and the entire NHRA sportsman racing community, we'd like to present a special presentation that will get to the Coughlin family for their sponsorship of the JEGS Sports Nationals. At this time, I'd like to recognize the people that are behind the scenes at our events and whose tireless efforts are largely responsible for the success of our division events here in the North Central Division. That, of course, is our division certification team. It takes a team effort, and we have a great group of guys and gals. If the entire Division III certification team, would you please stand? I'm not going to rattle off all the names. We've got 40-some certification team workers that have worked throughout the year. But we truly appreciate their efforts. I know I do. And I would like to pay particular thanks to Joanne Robertson in our division office and our new division tech director, Joe Lease. They've put a lot more hours than I'm sure what was expected, but Joanne and Joe, thank you so very much. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage our NHRA Vice President of Marketing and Brand Strategy. Please welcome Casey Kohler.
Good evening. It's great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this celebration tonight. Tonight is all about honoring the 2016 North Central Division champions and recognizing your accomplishments. We're truly grateful and want to thank Lucas Oil, Summit, JEGS, Mosier, Spitzer, Race Cars, Steve Schmidt, Brodix, T&E Auto Haulers, as Jay said earlier, and each of the division sponsors for their support of the NHRA Sportsman Racing. None of this would be possible without the strong support of our member tracks as well. We realize that each of the tracks take great pride in sharing our passion for the sport by investing countless hours to preserve the right to race and provide a place for quality competition to make champions. I also want to acknowledge Joanne and Jay as he celebrates his 30th year with Division III, as well as the certification team for all their diligent efforts to put this sport throughout the diligent efforts that they put into the sport throughout the season. At the core of tonight is all about you racers. We understand all the work that goes into competing, and we are deeply appreciative of your participation all year across the North Central Division. We know the time required, the skills it takes to reach the goals and accomplishments that you're being recognized for tonight. Without question, NHRA and its member tracks bring together the best racers in the world at the very best facilities in the ultimate test of competition. If you made it here tonight, you made it to the top of that test. So please give yourselves a round of applause to our champions tonight. Congratulations to each of you on a great season, and we hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Jay said he forgot a page in the program. I'm Dennis Weininger. Nobody's going to introduce you. Just get up there. They know who you are. Okay, good. Casey, I figured out who you look like. Sitting across from Casey at that reminds me of somebody. So once he was up here, he was further away. And he reminds me of a younger, better-looking Jack Beckman, right? Okay. Nobody agrees? I see. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good, good. This year, we celebrated the 40th running of the NHRA Summit Racing Series North Central Division Finals. Over 600 participants took part, with one racer, Terry McGee, having attended all 40 years. We also had 5 tracks who have been in there 40 years: Bunker Hill Drag Strip, Kil-Kare Dragway, Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis, National Trail Raceway, and Pacemakers Dragway Park. 40 years in the CT program. So congratulations to those 5 tracks. And if Terry McGee was here, I'm sure he'd say, I'm coming back, 41, 42, and just keep going. Want to thank the track operators and volunteers, Lucas Oil Raceway crew, and the participants who collectively dealt with drenching thunderstorms and morning fog delays to get this event in the books. Our thanks, of course, to Summit Racing Equipment, and I would like to say special thanks to the 11 Track Announcer Guild members who volunteered their time to announce during those 3 days. One of the highlights of the event is the Sunoco Race of Champions, And we would like to acknowledge this year's Sunoco Champions of Champions. I think they're on the screen. Okay, maybe that's the fog. And Super Pro, Todd Clark from Muncie Dragway. Pro ET, Wes Buckley from Summit Motorsports Park. Yeah, good. If you want to clap, that's great. Super Pro Bike, Joe Novak from Milan Dragway. And in the sportsman category, Larry Schubert from Muncie Dragway. Every year we have a special Team Spirit Award, which exemplifies the color, fun, and excitement of the NHRA Summit Racing Series. So that is exemplified by the winner of our next award. The National Dragster Team Spirit Award is presented tonight to Byron Dragway. And if you were there, you saw all the cool stuff that they had. Oh, nice tie. I'm sorry, I get distracted here. It's flashing red lights, okay. At a drag racer banquet, flashing red lights. Oh, okay. Anyway, BJ and his daughter and Randy Simpson are headed back because they said, you know, it's going to snow and it just might be kind of heavy. So they got their award, and we'll get a picture of them sometime in the off season. We did crown champions in 5 different categories on Sunday afternoon. So Jacob Youngblood, if you come up. Jacob was our 2016 North Central Division High School champion. Jacob hails from Rosedale, Indiana, racing for Crossroads Dragway, and he wheeled his 2006 Chevy pickup truck to the title. And I had a chance to interview all the folks on Sunday evening following their wins. And Jacob told me that he's going to be running perhaps in pro category, but we'll let that surprise come from him. Jacob, congratulations.
I'd just like to thank my dad and my mom for letting me use the truck to race it, and Randy and Tami for giving us a great place to race, and hope to be back next year.
I want to thank Jacob for not disclosing the fact that I called him Jason during the first interview. We didn't. We had to do it twice. Oh, well. The J names always were stumpers for me. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2016 NHRA Summit Racing Series North Central Division Super Pro Motorcycle Champion, and that would be Kyle Dolamore. Kyle? Kyle rode his Suzuki to the winner's circle. It was the biggest win of his young drag racing career. 18-year-old from Wellington, Ohio, helped his Summit Motorsports Park team to its runner-up finish and tiebreaker. Kyle told me in the winner's circle that he got a lot of help from his dad and his grandpa, so it's a true family event there. And in the final, a margin of victory of 1/1000th of a second. You guys know how close that is. Kyle Dolamore. Kylie Dolamore, right? I'm sorry?
I'm accepting on behalf.
Accepting for Kyle, okay. I thought Jay made a mistake, but it's me. Okay, I'm sorry.
You just didn't get the memo. Kyle was not able to be here tonight, so I'm accepting on behalf of him. I'd like to thank Jay and all of the team members that helped to put that race on, and most importantly, would like to thank Summit Racing Equipment for hosting that great series. Thank you.
See if I can screw up one more. Moving on to the next category, would you please welcome the NHRA Summit Racing Series North Central Division Sportsman Champion, Marlon Howes. Okay, that's Marlon. I know I talked to Kyle in the winner's circle. Okay, Marlon advanced to the National Championships, a trip of a lifetime to Pomona with his 2002 Pontiac Firebird. Marlon is from Livonia, Michigan, and he helped his Milan Dragway team to a 5th place finish. During the interview process, I found out that yellow Firebird, one of those 30th anniversary special edition, actually belongs to his wife. borrowed it, and after he won the race, he drove it back to Michigan, which I think is kind of cool considering that now he's got to go out to Pomona, got his picture in National Dragster with the semifinalists out there, and now he is picking up his championship accolades from our Division ET finals. Marlon?
I would like to thank Summit Racing for the paid vacation to sunny California. Congratulations to the other winners here tonight. Thanks to Cristy Baxter and Milan Dragway, and a special thanks to Elaine for helping me get 2 cars to the racetrack. Thanks.
Thanks, Marlon. Okay, we got one more category to go, I think. Looks like it. But unfortunately, our 2016 Summit Racing Series Division III National Pro ET Champion, Chad Isley, is at a friend's wedding this weekend. Yeah, I guess so. Jump out and come up here. And he's unable to join us. Chad is one of those rare natural drivers, and he described his previous trip to Pomona as the best time of his life so far. And during our interview, he predicted a win this year, and indeed he did. So accepting for Chad Isley is Rod Veland, operator of his home track, Coles County Dragway, USA. Rod?
Thanks a lot. Chad had a lot to say and wished he could have been here, but I'll try to do the best I can. Chad definitely wants to thank Summit Racing Equipment. Without them, his chances to go to Pomona and racing all the where he races wouldn't happen. So big thanks to Summit Racing. Indianapolis Raceway Park and their staff did an incredible job. There was a monsoon, and they were still able to get the racing off and pulled a lot of us out at 10:30 at night, Sunday night, when it was pretty deep in the mud. So thanks to Indianapolis Raceway Park. To the Division III team, thanks a lot so much for that. Also, you guys put on a great show. He wanted to say big thanks to Larry Hodge Racing Tires, TCA, and Ken Jones Carburetors. He said winning this Summit Pro ET was a dream that he didn't think he could accomplish, and he couldn't have done it without all the great competition. In the semifinals, he had Dustin Brent, Ken Northrup, and Taylor Willard. It's a bunch of guys that he likes to sit around and drink beer with, and they drive him to move further, and he wants to thank them for that. He had a team of Alex Winkler, Steve Clemmy, and Eric Cooper, who made the trek out to Pomona, and he wanted to thank them for that. Alex Winkler actually let him use a truck to go out there and tow with it. He also had a lot of Team Tropical Star members that went out there. There was a contingent of about 15 CCD team members out there rooting him on at Pomona. It was a pretty good day. It was very, very exciting. And he wanted to make sure everyone knew that if you ever win, go. Because when you go to Pomona, Summit and the team out there take care of the Summit ET racers, treated them like gold, and definitely took care of them. So again, big thanks to all those. Thank you.
Thanks, Rod. The ET final rules allow for a competition to run in a competitor to run as many as 4 different categories with 4 vehicles. Chad qualified in 3 when he raced here in Indianapolis. Pro ET, he was a runner-up to Marlon Howes in Sportsman, and he also picked up a point for his Cole County team on motorcycle. Then he made that 4th trip out to Pomona and came back to Charleston, Illinois, with his Summit Racing Series Pro ET National Championship Wally. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And Rob was talking about Chad and his drinking buddies, and I look at Chad and go, he's old enough to drink? I mean, the kid's going to be, 20 forever, it seems like. Our next gentleman was here on stage in 2014, and he's back again as your 2016 Summit Racing Series Super Pro Division champion. This would be Tim Buckley. Tim? Tim qualified for Milan Dragway and put together a 006 package in the final to hold off the 2011 champion, Aaron Witzman. Tim and his Fast Buck Dragster went 00 in the last 3 rounds of racing on that Sunday afternoon. said he was looking forward to going to Pomona. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tim Buckley.
I'd like to thank Division III. Jay, you guys treat us Summit guys real well. Any questions we need to have. Also like to thank Milan Dragway for having a good facility up there to race at every week. We mix it up pretty good. You got to understand the bracket finals or the team race. It's real special. If you win, you don't just have a few people left to root for you. All the teams root for you. It's a great feeling driving back there, and the other tracks are staying there clapping for you. You know, how many of us go and win, and nobody's there when we win. It's just a great experience. And then Summit, what can you say? They send us to California. They treat us like champions out there. We have a banquet. They park us close up to the stands. We don't have to walk very far. They're around. You need anything, anything we want, they took care of us. So, and I'd like to really thank someone that's been very special in my life, and she didn't stand behind me. She stands beside me. Cheryl, I love you. Thank you.
Along with the individual competition, an overall team champion was determined. 1 point was awarded for each round win, and a bonus of $6,400 divided up in those 32 team members. $3,200 for the runner-up team is paid out in addition to nearly $70,000 in individual cash and contingencies. And our congratulations to Summit Motorsports Park for their runner-up finish, but more importantly, the 2016 track champion, Coles County Dragway USA. So Rod, come on back up here. This year's team championship was reminiscent of the movie Hoosiers. With Coles County Dragway USA, they were way back in ninth place after the first round and went on to claim their first team title. Again, we got to talk with Rod in the winner's circle, and you can kind of hear what Rod is saying because his throat was so raw from cheering all those folks on. But it was still a great time.
Sure, you all are getting tired of having me up here and talking, so I'll try to make this one short. Couldn't do it without a great team, obviously, and we had a great leader. Dawn Harlan is our team captain, and she is really, a go-getter and making sure that everyone is ready to go and does whatever it takes to get us there. So I got to thank her for that. We had some big horses that went lots of rounds. So we couldn't have done it without them. Of course, again, Division III, NHRA, Summit, I can't say it enough. They're incredible. And what Tim was talking about earlier, of course, we were in the stands there at the end, and there's not very many people left, but we're cheering and going crazy for all of them. And yeah, my voice was gone. Probably like it will be here soon. Thanks again.
Our special thanks certainly to Summit Racing Equipment for their support of the great series. The tracks met earlier today to map out the plans for the 41st edition of this exciting event that will be coming up in September of this next year. Get qualified at your participating NHRA member track. This time I'd like to present the ET Driver of the Year. It was based on voting of online from our division website. The ET Bracket Driver of the Year finalists in the voting were Tim Buckley, the Super Pro champion, Chad Isley, the Summit Racing Series National and Divisional Pro ET champion, and Super Quick Series champion, Cristy Morgan-Back. And the votes went to Chad Isley. Rod, you want to come back up? We're going to just got more airtime than I have tonight. Jeez. Congratulations to Chad Isley, the ET Driver of the Year.
Again, Chad wished he could be here and said it's just a huge, huge accomplishment just to be nominated. So he wanted to thank everybody for that. Never thought it would be possible, just like he never thought it'd be possible to win the Pro Championship, Division III Championship, and now this award. So thank you so much. He said his win comes from a very consistent and great vehicle. And thanks to Chris Littlefield, he has a great sportsman ride, and he wanted to thank him for that. He also wanted to give a huge shout out to all the racers that compete with him on a weekly basis, making him a better person. He said it sure helps when you go into the staging lanes and you're ready to go, and he wanted to thank Chris for that. Again, a big thanks to NHRA Division III, Jay Allinger and the crew, Summit Race Equipment, and all the competition that keeps him going on his toes. Thank you.
This time I'd like to have Bob Unkefer come back up stage here and get us going with our next group of awards. Bob?
Thank you, sir. Well, as we all know, the season not only consists of the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events, the Junior Dragster competition, the Super Quick Series, but also some of our special races within the race or within the race season as it goes on. First off, we'd like to recognize our JEGS All-Star team. The JEGS All-Star event in Joliet, Illinois every year brings together an eclectic group of outstanding Lucas Oil Series drivers from around the country. This year was no different. The competition is intensely fierce, and both individual and overall division team championships are decided. $100,000 in cash, purse, tow money, and team bonuses is divided. And this year, our Division III Lucas Oil JEGS All-Star team, representing us in Top Alcohol Dragster, were Brandon Boer and Mia Tedesco. In Top Alcohol Funny Car were Paul Noakes and Tony Bogolo. Competition Eliminator was the champion comp eliminator, Troy Galbraith. Super Stock, Jeff Dona. Stock Eliminator, Ben Wenzel in his low-mileage one-owner car. Jeremy Mason in Super Comp. Steve Hoyt in his Super Gas Corvette. Bob Schmidt was our representative in Super Street. Top Sportsman saw perennial runner Jerry Albert at the wheel. Our top dragster champion and winner this year was Joe Hessling. The blocker in Super Gas was Luke Bogacki. And our Super Street blocker this year was Scotty Reinshield. Now, while Division III has won the JEGS All-Stars on numerous occasions, this year was just a little bit short. So we started collecting points at Route 66 last June. We'll continue to collect points through the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series event at Norwalk. And come July, we'll all be back in Joliet for the 2017 running of the JEGS All-Stars competition. But how about a round of applause for all of our JEGS All-Star team members? The JEGS All-Star team puts on a pretty good show, but then again, so does our Mosier Engineering Sportsman Shootout. The top 2 points earners in Super Stock, Super Comp, Super Gas, Super Street, Top Dragster, and Top Sportsman, along with 2 wild cards. Complete the team, or complete the field, I should say, that competes in a unique 8th mile championship race. Throw in $15,000 purse, a totally cool trophy, and you have some great competition. Reigning Super Gas National Champ Jacob Elrod's name was drawn as one of the wild cards, and he went on to win the event, collecting the $5,000 win as he held off Mark McDonald's Top Sportsman Mustang in the final round of the Mosier Sportsman Shootout. So congratulations to all of our Mosier Sportsman Shootout contestants. I understand the program is up for renewal, and they're looking at maybe some revisions to come along. So stand by and keep an eye on the website, and we'll see what the 2017 edition brings. Competition Eliminator also runs their own special race throughout the season, with the top points earners competing, the top 4 points earners, I should say, competing for the event championship, the Spitzer Race Cars Indy Gear Comp Shootout, held every year at Beech Bend and Bowling Green. This year, the champ was Rick Brown, who was able to hold off the field of Steve Ambrose, Greg Champlain, and Troy Galbraith. And I don't care how you cut it, that's a pretty stout team of Comp Eliminator cars. So congratulations to our Spitzer Race Cars Indy Gear Comp Shootout champ, Mr. Rick Brown, who took home the title this year. another set of special competition winners, and we'd like to invite these drivers to the stage. Our Class Performer Awards, if you would, Gary Summers, Dan Jacobs, and Bill Skillman, representing stock and super stock. Gentlemen, if you would, come on up. Individual class eliminations has for years provided some of the most exciting, heads-up, all-out competition in super stock and stock eliminator racing. The Performer Award recognizes the season's top national performers in heads-up class racing. And out of the 4 champions in the country, we're proud to have 3 of them this year right here in Division 3. Not only do they receive a Wally, but they also receive the limited edition Redmond Cup. Redmond wanted to be sure and point out to everybody that he's got his Redman logo on both the front and the back, so if you're right-handed or left-handed, you still get to see his mug on the cup. Our first recipient is the national performer in stock eliminator automatic, Gary Summers. Gary?
First of all, I'd like to thank all the Division III tech guys. They're the best in the country. My wife, Cindy, and my partners in crime, Tommy Turner and his wife, Wanda. Thank you.
In Super Stock Stick Competition, the Performer Award winner, Dan Jacobs. Dan? And in Super Stock Automatic, our Performer Award winner, Bill Skillman. Bill?
Good evening, everyone. I'm truly humbled with all the support. I don't know if a lot of you guys know my dad was involved in a pretty bad wreck in Las Vegas, and I really appreciate everybody reaching out. All the prayers, all the support, it means a ton to us. And I want to thank our team, who is great, all the guys at Ray Skillman, Joey. We've got a whole crew that just knocks it dead, and they take great care of us. And we think Division III has by far the very best racers in the country. It's the toughest racing anywhere. And congratulations to all the champions, and I appreciate it very much. Thanks.
Well, as these gentlemen part the stage, we're going to get into some very special awards. The Online Voting Awards, as voted on by the competitors and the racers here in Division III. Online voting determines special awards for drivers and mechanics in our Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series competition. And to start everything off with our North Central Division Lucas Oil Sportsman Mechanic of the Year for the categories of Comp, Super Stock, Stock, Super Gas, Super Street, and Super Comp, along with our Brodick Steve Schmidt Top Sportsman and Spitzer Top Dragster category. The 3 finalists: Crew Chief for Troy Galbraith's National Record Holding Dragster, Mr. Jim Evans. Crew Chief for the CarsProtectionPlus.com team, Mr. Jason Lynch. And the crew chief on the Power Source Transportation Top Sportsman Corvette, driven by his son, Mick Snyder, is Larry Snyder. Those are your 3 finalists, and ladies and gentlemen, your Sportsman Mechanic of the Year, Mr. Larry Snyder.
Quite the honor to win. Can't really do it without my crew. And really appreciate everybody that voted for me, especially Cyrus. Thank you.
Next up, our Sportsman Driver of the Year. The voting was divided into 2 separate categories. The Super Eliminator balloting included Super Comp, Super Gas, and Super Street. Our 3 finalists: Troy Coughlin Jr. for his competition in Super Comp and Super Gas. Kimbra Fusting, your runner in Super Comp. and Mia Tedesco in Super Gas. And ladies and gentlemen, your North Central Division Lucas Oil Sportsman Driver of the Year for the Super Eliminator categories, Miss Mia Tedesco.
This is an honor, and I'm humbled, but I didn't really write anything because I wasn't expecting. There's, so many great competitors, and to do this is truly a blessing, so thank you all for voting.
Our North Central Division Lucas Oil Sportsman Driver of the Year for Comp, Super Stock, Stock, Top Sportsman, and Top Dragster category. Your three finalists: Aaron Allison in Stock and Super Stock, Troy Galbraith in Competition Eliminator, and Mick Snyder in Top Sportsman. Your winner from Competition Eliminator, Troy Galbraith. Troy?
Have you guys not seen that car that Mick drives? Are you kidding me? No, as Mia was saying, you would never write a speech for something like this. I once won a race, and a friend of mine saw the winner's circle picture with my, sweaty armpits and this and that, and he was like, "Dude, you got to take a nicer shirt to the winner's circle." And I said, "Absolutely not. Can you imagine having to take that out of the golf cart and put it back in the trailer after having not won? That'd be painful." So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Great car.
For your Lucas Oil Pro Sportsman Mechanic of the Year, your finalists, and there were 4 of them: Andy Bowl, Brandon Boer, Will Hanna, and Dave Harada. And a drum roll. Your winner is Dave Harada. Dave?
Grab a beer. It's going to be a long speech here. Division 3, Jay and the staff, the best division, bar none. We can all say that. The tech team, thank you. We pass fuel check and temp all the time. Thank you very much. All the safety safari for keeping us safe, and Glenn and Linda, you're going to miss us, but we're going to miss you more. Thank you. Thank you. Real quick, these tables here, Mia, Mr. and Mrs. T, Jason, Cristy, thank you. That table right there, again, Team of the Year. My mom and dad, Grace and Bean, Chief, his wife, Nicole, Brian Jr., in no way, Byron, Philip, in no way, Chris, Lewis, Wells. None of us have names. We go by nicknames, and that's all they are, my girlfriend, Mia. But anyway, it's an honor. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Everyone have a great night.
In the North Central Division Pro Sportsman Driver of the Year category, there were 3 finalists: Andy Bowl, Scott McVeigh, and Mia Tedesco. And your winner of the North Central Division Pro Sportsman Driver of the Year, Andy Bowl.
Well, I guess thank you guys for voting for me. To beat Mia, that's pretty insane, wouldn't you say? And I don't think I did. You're definitely a better driver, but anyways, thank you guys.
Before we get into our championship awards, I would like for everybody to take just a moment and enjoy the excitement that was the 2016 season on the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Tour here in Division 3.
Here she comes. Yes, we do. A female winner. Randy Lynn gets it done. Oh, a great finish given to Richmond Phillips by a hundredth of a second.
Cody Lane coming up alongside him. See the nose drop.
And it is going to be Coy who lights up that road rage side of the racetrack. Coy Collier getting it done. Oh, this is going to be good. Kyle Rizzoli picks up the national event win, the fourth of his career.
Gary Stennett adds to his already incredible resume, and he just picked up national event trophy number 39. That's a lot.
They just handed me a pile of checks. I'm leaving. See y'all later. Oh, we're at this time. Mr. Spitzer, if you'd like to join us on stage, please. We'd like to get into our Mike Spitzer Top Dragster category. Recognition of our three finalists, our three champions. We mentioned the Top Dragster racing a little bit earlier in the evening. We've got the records for the quickest fields ever. Yeah, they came close last year down in Texas, but that's, like they said, because some of the D3 cars came down to D4 and gave it a shot and helped boost the field a little bit. I'd like to recognize Lynn Ellison for his third place finish with a season-ending win at that event in Noble, Oklahoma, to wrap up his third place in the Mike Spitzer Race Cars Top Dragster category. Congratulations also go to J.B. Strasweg, who wielded his dragster to the win at Route 66 and finished second in the championship chase this year. And ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Spitzer Race Cars Top Dragster Series champion, Mr. Al Peevler. Al from Olney, Illinois, has been a top contender in the JEGS Super Quick Series the past several seasons. This year he focused on the Spitzer Race Cars Top Dragster Series, and he captured the Division 5 race at Earlville and jumped into the points lead that stood up for his first ever Spitzer Race Cars Dragster Championship title, and your champion, Mr. Al Peevler.
Good evening. Wow, I can't believe I'm up here. I always start every year with a thought that I just want to go race, and however I do, I do. A top dragster championship was never really a goal. I just always wanted to finish in the top 10, and I considered that a pretty good year. Well, this year was a pretty good year. There are a lot of people I want to thank. The Division 3 team, Jay and all his people, Mike Spitzer for sponsoring the class, and all the other top dragster drivers. I want to thank Joe Hessling at APD for my engine. I made the switch to Pro Charger midway through last year, and so far, so good. I'd like to thank Mark, Travis, and Brett, and all the guys at American Race Cars for building what I think is the best car out there. I also want to thank Marco Abruzzi Transmissions, Mickey Thompson Tires, and VP Fuel for their great products. For everyone that knows me, I race for 3 reasons: to have fun at the track with my friends, to eat really well, and to compete. And I do it in that order. So I want to thank my buddies that make racing fun and are always there to help. Paul and Vonnie Dudley, Ed and Charity Dudley, Philip and Jesse Oakley, and Tim and Sarah Papp, and everyone else that makes being at the track great. I also want to thank my boys, Michael and Blake, for their support, and my grandson, Peyton, for letting me drive his race car. My parents, Mike and Martha, for whom I work with, and they allow me to go racing on the weekends. Seth, Bob, and all the guys in the shop for keeping the doors open while I'm gone. But most of all, my wife of nearly 28 years, Lana. Without her, I wouldn't and I couldn't race. So thank you. Good night, everyone.
Congratulations to the winner there, and I appreciate the effort that Jay makes to let Spitzer be involved with the Division III, and it's been a pleasure to do that for quite a few years. Thank you very much.
Much like the Spitzer race cars, top dragster category, the Brodix Steve Schmidt Top Sportsman Racing Series also has the record of being the quickest ever field here in Division III. Several of them, as we heard earlier. Congratulations go out this year to our third place winner, Jerry Albert, who not only finished third, but also with his win at the JEGS Sports Nationals, was able to finish 8th in the country in the RacingRVs.com National Championship. For Mark McDonald, our second place finisher, as he wheeled his DragstersForSale.com Mustang. He did it with a runner-up finish at the Moser Sportsman Shootout, and also with a win down in Bristol. And he was able to finish 7th in the Racing RV's Top Sportsman National Points Championship. Also had a runner-up, the Brodix Steve Schmidt Top Sportsman Series. But our champion this year, Mr. Mick Snyder, in the Brodix Steve Schmidt Top Sportsman category. The top sportsman field this year was wide open. No one person dominated, as evidenced by Snyder's winning total of 303 points, the lowest total of any of your division champions this year. Mick's lone win came at the Beech Bend Divisional. And equally as important, he added round wins at each and every one of his events. Looks like Mick's ready to speak. Take it away.
Don't worry, it's only 3 pages. So it's been 10 years since I stood up here last time on the stage. It's been 3 classes, 2 cars, a championship in another organization, and here we are again. To win a bracket championship is a huge deal. Top Sportsman's not won by pocketbooks, but instead quality parts, hard work, skill, and a lot of luck. Until last season, it had been about 15 years since I last put a dial-in on a window. I've been blessed to race a lot of different classes and lucky enough to do well at most of them. But without an amazing crew to make me look good, none of this is possible. My dad, Larry, my mom, Bev, and most importantly, my wife, Lindsay, along with the support of my kids, and the green vintage team, my sister, Shanna, her fiance, Troy, and of course, Toddy. While a great crew is key, the most important thing is quality parts and a great relationship with companies and suppliers. For those of you who don't know, our family business is Snyder Motorsports, and we sell high horsepower race car parts. This is my 24th season drag racing, and we have built some great relationships with some of the best companies in the industry. Lingo Drive Racing Transmissions, ComSync EFI with Mixed Performance, JE Pistons, Lucas Oil, VP Racing Fuels, Flat Out Gaskets, Hoosier Tires, NGK Spark Plugs, Cohen Converters, T&D Rockers, R&R Rods, Vizier Engineering with the VED Hemi Heads, Aeromotive Fuel Pumps, Indy Gear, Moroso, RCD, Safety Clean, and Bill Atomizer injectors. As you can see, my car has lots of stickers. Last season, we debuted the supercharged Comsec EFI Corvette, and we had no idea when we started how well it would work and how easy it would make my life. It's been great pride standing here knowing that my father and I have had a major hand developing and building most of the parts on our car and the stuff we sell. And a special thanks to Ryan and Blake with ComSync and Gary from Lenco Transmissions. We started the season with plans of racing at just the races we wanted to and not even running for a championship. But as the season wore on and a suggestion from Sacman to go to St. Louis, here we are. Last, I wanted to thank Jason and Mitchell Scruggs for their support and a great race car, and also Barb from Power Source Transportation for supporting our team for the last 10 years and making us the fastest mover in their power-only trucking fleet. Thank you, guys.
This time, I'd like to ask Kevin McWilliams from Lucas Oil to come to the stage. We've got $519,000 total year-end payout that Lucas Oil provides for our top finishers in the national and regional and divisional championships. Kevin's going to come up and help pass some of that out. And I was told a little bit earlier today, for those of you that race on the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Tour and the National Event Tour, you know you've been able to pick up your Lucas Oil contingency check on the National Event Winner's Circle when you win. Lucas is going to expand the program next year and take it down to, or bring it into the division level. So Lucas Oil will be presenting a contingency sponsor on the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Tour. So tip of the cap to everybody at Lucas Oil for stepping up to the program and getting it in with all of our divisional races. Thank you, Kevin. I know you had a little bit of help in doing that, but thanks to Lucas Oil for their continued involvement in our sport. Getting into our Lucas Oil champions, we'd like to recognize our top three in the Super Street category. Dennis Napier finished third in the division. The runner out of Pataskala, Ohio, had 3 70-plus Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events, qualified for the Mosier Sportsman Shootout, and had his best points finish to date in NHRA Lucas Oil competition. Congratulations also go out to runner-up in the category, Super Street category, Craig Meyer, who became a contender in Super Street. He was really on a roll at Norwalk earlier this year with a runner-up finish in the Indy Rainout that we finished on Friday, and then he won the Norwalk event on Sunday. Well, it was late Sunday night, but Sunday. Your 2016 Super Street Lucas Oil Division champion is Mr. Rob Kropfeld. Rob, if you'd come on up and join us on stage. The first division championship for Rob, who also finished 12th in the national point standings in Super Gas. Runner-up at the Summit Motorsports Park in May, won the North Central Division Lucas Oil Final in Bowling Green, and then put a little icing on the cake with a couple of rounds at the Division II event down in Reynolds, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, your Super Street champ, Mr. Rob Kropfeld.
Well, thank you very much. After my 20-plus years of racing, I finally won the entry-level class in NHRA. A lot of hard work. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my beautiful girlfriend, Kristen, for helping me all the time through the week at the races, sometimes not when she can't make it, but thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the Division III guys, tech guys, awesome. I think you're the best in the country. Make it so much easier, I think, racing. Lucas Oil, I'd like to thank them. JEGS, Summit, Mosier, all the guys that help us, sportsman guys, do what we love to do, and all the Division III tracks. I think we're the best, and good luck to everybody in 2017.
We go from the 1090 category to the 990 category, the Super Gas field. Edmund Richardson Jr., one of the busiest guys in the pits, finished third, but he was busy humping and pumping all year long to keep his fleet of family race cars on track. The multi-time champion finished third in what turned out to be an extremely competitive Super Gas field this year. Last year's national division champion, Jacob Elrod, finished fourth nationally, second here in the division. And we mentioned earlier that Elrod won the Mosier Sportsman Shootout. He also picked up a win this year at National Trail Raceway and was runner-up at Route 66 in Joliet. But we'd like to now welcome your 2016 Lucas Oil Super Gas Division Champion, Miss Mia Tedesco, to the stage. Mia did extremely well at Joliet this year, as her only 2 wins of the season came at Route 66 Raceway, winning both the divisional and the national. Must have been that Cubs mystique that was in the air there, huh? It was her overall season, though, that really made the difference, as her lowest scored event was 61 points. And she accumulated the most points of any competitor in categories here in the division. It might have helped to win the national championship as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your Super Gas Division Champion, and you saw earlier your Super Gas National Champion, Miss Mia Tedesco.
Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here and to accept this award. The Super Gas category is where I've spent my entire career. I know it, I love it, and I respect all of the teams and competitors and fans who make it so special. To have reached this achievement as Division III champion means more than I can say. For those of you who have watched me race, you know that the way my car performs seems to fit my style, both on a professional and a personal level. We may start out a little behind, but the speed and power come on really strong at the end, where it really counts. That has been my approach to so many parts of my life, taking the time up front to observe, learn, ask questions, build a plan, and test it out. Then, to turn on the jets and compete with real energy and determination. In other words, to make it count when it counts the most. Naturally, none of this is possible without some of the finest, most dependable people in the world. People who, other than my parents, sister, and boyfriend, make up what I consider to be my extended family. I'd like to acknowledge them now. Jason and Cristy, you're the best, and there's no way any of this would be possible without your belief in me and our team. Thank you so much for everything. My appreciation also goes out to my sponsors, Cars Protection Plus, AMCO, VP Racing Fuels, Hoosier Tire, Quick Fuel Technology, Wilkerson Racing Engines, Abruzzi Transmissions, and Lucas Oil. Your support is absolutely invaluable, and I'm so grateful. Of course, I would like to recognize and thank my mom and dad, sister, and boyfriend Andy for taking this amazing ride with me, putting up with the hours of travel and cost, and always reminding me of how very, very blessed my life truly is. And while we're on the subject of blessings, all praise and honor go to God, whose hand guides us all. You know, my years competing in Super Gas have produced a number of second-place finishes, each of which have come with lessons learned and opportunities to grow and improve. Looking back now, I see those near misses as necessary experiences, giving me the chance to figure things out. Kind of like how my car always seems to start a little behind during the actual race. But again, just like how the engine picks up and the speed kicks in for me on the racetrack, this award tonight offers proof of the good things that can happen when you stay focused, humble, and driven. I'll never forget this moment, or this evening, or all of you for sharing it with me. Thank you all so very much.
Mia, don't go anywhere. Jacob, if you'd come on up. Years ago, there was a national championship touring trophy developed for Competition Eliminator, and each year's national champion gets that trophy. A few years back, it came to be for Super Comp. Well, Luke Bogacki, 3 years ago, decided that Super Gas needed a national championship trophy as well. And since the last 3 national champions in Super Gas have all been from right here in Division III. Jacob Elrod is here, has last year's champion to present it to this year's champion, Miss Mia. Lucas signed it, Jacob signed it, and next year when Miss Mia gets to present it on to the next champion, she'll sign it and present it as well. But a national championship touring trophy now for Super Gas. Congrats. Well, we go from 1090 to 990 to 890. Let's just pick up the pace a little bit. Our tiebreaker decided third place this year. Racing Jason Lynch from Pleasant View, Tennessee, won the opener at Lucas Oil Raceway and finished out his scoring at Silver Dollar down in Georgia to take our third place in the division points chase this year. Only a single point separated the top two in Super Comp. Number of late round showings put Troy Jr., better known as TJ, into the points lead up to the next to last race of the season. Great year for TJ to finish second, wheeling his JEGS.com Dragster to runner-up finish. And we all know that he has announced that next year he'll be stepping up into the really quick cars, Top Fuel. But tonight it's all about your Super Comp champ. When you start off the season with back-to-back wins at your first two races, taking the wins at Norwalk and Columbus, chances are you're going to have a pretty good year. Well, for our champion, the magic kind of disappeared in the middle of the season, but she was able to bring it back, finish strong, semifinal finish at Bowling Green, made a trip down to Rockingham for one more round to give her the championship. She pulled it off to edge out TJ by 1 point in our Super Comp Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Kimbra Fusting. Kimbra?
All right. Talk about an unexpected and crazy race season. The 3 races that I was supposed to run this year quickly turned into 7, including a trip to Rockingham, North Carolina, because TJ just had to go run well at Earlville. Yes, it was a crazy year, but it was a fun year, and I have a few people I need to thank, because without them, I would not be standing here tonight. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family. Thank you, Dad, for always supporting me even when you couldn't make it to the track, and for doing all the behind-the-scenes work to make sure I had a chance to be successful every weekend. Mom, you are the backbone of our family and of our racing team. Thank you for providing a home away from home at the racetrack and for figuring out my numbers for the throttle stop, because we all know I don't have the patience for that. Joey, thank you for being the best brother a girl could ask for and for not leaving my car at home and for getting it out of the trailer every morning. Darby, I know our summer didn't go quite like we planned, but thank you for supporting my passion for the sport and for making me go to Norwalk and Columbus, even if it was for fear that my mom would hate you for letting me stay home. Next, I need to thank my racing family and friends. First, Pete Lamas for convincing my mom that drag racing is a cheap family sport. I think you got the family part right. Next, I need to thank the Lamonts, including Carlos. We've been racing together since junior dragsters, and I consider them to be my second family. Chad is the second little brother that I really didn't need, and Pat taught me how to race. I also need to thank the McIlvains and the Sheltons, especially Evan, for all the lucky fist bumps. Casey, Amber Egan, the Whitefoots, the Dysingers, and the O'Neills. Thank you for all your support this year. It means a lot to be able to call you all my friends. I'd also like to thank the Division III staff for their work both at and away from the track this season. And thank you to all the Division III Super Comp competitors. I can honestly say that the Division III is some of the hardest competitors that I've ever faced. And it's because of the competition you all provide that I can line up next to Sherman Adcock and not be fazed that I need to be one of the best to win a championship. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bristol Hose and Fitting, Lamont Truck and Trailer Sales, and Parker Store Racing for all of their financial support over the years. Thank you.
Our next category is stock eliminator, and there were 232 individual competitors that earned points in stock this year. Dan Fletcher said it many years ago. It's one of the hardest categories to win in, and this year it turned out that the fourth round of the first race of the year was the deciding factor for the division championship. More about that in a minute. Our third place finisher in stock eliminator, Aaron Allison, who won at Norwalk, picked up additional points over in Division 5 and down in Division 2 as he was in pursuit of a double up in both stock and super stock. Finished third in the Division 3 points chase this year. Ohio's Brian Merkel was looking to add to his previous super street and stock eliminator division titles this year, settled for a runner-up, and it was decided in the fourth round at the opening race in Indy because he lost to Greg Hill at that race, or Andrew Hill, excuse me, at that race. And that one round of head-to-head competition was the tiebreaker for the division championship this year. Please welcome your 2016 stock eliminator, Lucas Oil champion, second generation racer, Andrew Hill. Andrew? He got that fourth round win over Brian Merkel, which ultimately was the deciding tiebreaker. He also won at Bowling Green. Tonight collects his division championship, his Wally, his jacket, his gold card, and I think Kevin's got some cash for him. Right now, though, you got a few words to say? Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Got to pull up my speech here. Feels pretty awesome to be up here. I remember being here 9 years ago. I was 15, and my dad was up here giving this speech for his division championship in stock, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I knew one day that's what I wanted to do. I'm glad to be here now, finally here. I started racing stock in 2010, a few years after that, with a 1970 Camaro, pretty similar to my dad's. My first race, I did pretty well, went 4 or 5 rounds. The second one in Bowling Green, I ended up winning. So I was like, oh, this will be easy, I'll be up there in no time. 5 years later, I finally got my second win. So it took a little longer than expected. But this year started off pretty great with the runner-up in Indy, 5th round loss in Norwalk, so kind of knew early on I had a pretty good chance. About the middle of the year, it came down to me, Aaron, our super stock champ, and Brian Merkel. We kind of knew it would be the three of us. But I kind of took a turn for the worse in the middle of the year. I had some engine issues in Columbus, so I wasn't even able to show up for the first round. I had a great friend, Carlton Sweezy, who offered to let me drive his car in St. Louis, which was a big help to kind of stay in the race, even though I didn't do so great. So going into Bowling Green, I was down quite a bit, as was Aaron, to Brian Merkel. We kind of joked around that something crazy would have to happen, like one of us to win the race to go ahead of him, and that ended up happening, so that was pretty cool. Had a lot of tough competition from many of the different divisions around the country in that race. A lot of people on their way to Indy. So that was one of the cooler experiences I've ever had, for sure. So I ended up managing to hold on to the lead to the very end, kind of getting chased from behind. My dad went all the way down to Rockingham with my car to try to get another round win out of it. So that worked out great. Really thankful to have all my friends and family supporting me through this. No way I can thank them all, but I really appreciate it. It's what makes this sport great. It's not, obviously it's about the racing, but it's mostly about the people. Happy to have my wonderful girlfriend Caroline here supporting me tonight. Thank you so much. As well as my friend Sam. Glad for him to be here. I think we're going to make a trip to Chicago next year, show him what the track's all about. But my biggest thanks I need to give to my dad. There's no way I'd be where I am today without him, and I don't just mean on the track. He's been the best support I could ever imagine these 24 years of my life so far. Works in my car for me when I can't, brings it to the track. I wouldn't be racing if it wasn't for him. Who knows where I'd be, really. But I'm glad we got to share this awesome year racing together. Congratulations to all the other champions tonight. I know how hard it is now to win one of these. It's a big feat. So I'm glad to be a part of that with everybody here. I also want to congratulate Ohio Valley racer, well, maybe not, at least he's from Louisville, but Lamar Jackson for winning the Heisman tonight. Yeah. Thank you very much.
In Super Stock, our third place finisher, Irvin Johns, scored an early season win down at Atlanta Dragway and added a semifinal finish at Columbus before coming up just a little bit short in a couple of needed rounds at the season-ending race out in Las Vegas. Nonetheless, a very good year, finishing third in some very, very tough Division III competition. Second place finisher was former champ Nick Morris in his Mustang, who finished 1 point shy of repeating as his Super Stock Division champion. Despite not getting a win this season, the racer out of Louisville, Kentucky, accumulated a number of late round finishes and helped secure himself a number 2 in the division and a number 9 in the National Points Championship. But tonight it's all about the division champ, and for 2016, your Super Stock Lucas Oil North Central Division champion, Aaron Allison. Aaron? You want to talk about starting off hot? How about going to a double up event in Atlanta, Georgia, and rolling out of the gate 4 days later with 189 points after the doubleheader? After that, it's called Keep On Rockin' and Keep On Rollin'. His first 5 races of the season were the 5 races that counted toward his points championship. Held off Irvin Johns, tough racer. Held off Nick Morris, tough racer. Here's your champ, Aaron Allison.
Just got a few notes on a Wyndham note card here, so not a full speech. When we started out 2016, over long winter from Ohio, it's kind of cold. And, I dreamed of trying to compete for a division championship. It's definitely on the goal bucket list. And I'm sure many of you in the room had the same goal for the season. And, I was very fortunate to be able to accomplish that goal. Many ups and downs throughout the year. Talked about the great finish we had at the Atlanta Dragway season opener. Almost didn't happen. I was actually scheduled had to be in El Paso, Texas for work the whole week. And that kind of screwed up our plans a little bit. Luckily, my father decided to take the trailer down. He said, "You just fly in. Good to go. Have everything there and ready for you." So 2 canceled flights later. Got there about a day late. Luckily, for once, it rained at the track, so I didn't really miss too much. Got down the staging lanes on the first run. I said, haven't raced it, just put it together, put the whole thing together. Should probably try the trans brake button, make sure it works. Put the trans brake button in, almost burnt the whole car down. Lots of smoke, little problems. So, throughout that event, had various problems throughout the year, ups and downs. Had a great start throughout the first part of the year. But as you all know, in this drag racing world, it's challenges. I think you just got to keep your head up and keep trying, keep working hard. And I think if you do, good things will happen. So I want to thank a few people. I'd like to thank my wife, Misty, and son, Blake, who's been here in and out of the room a few times. I got a 1.5-year-old son, and it was we didn't plan to travel quite as much as we had to this year. But after the first few races, pretty much we're locked in for the chase. And my wife, very supportive, and couldn't do it without her. I'd also like to thank my mom and dad. My dad is obviously an integral part of my racing and has been since I was very young in the junior dragster ranks. Thank my mom for letting him be supportive and be gone quite a bit. But again, just thank my dad. He does the cars for me. He gets the cars to the track many times. And, we race 2 cars in stock and super stock. And if anybody's ever tried to run 2 cars, it can be quite challenging, let alone just getting them to the track. So just like to thank him. Special thanks for him, because without him, none of this would be possible. I'd like to thank a few other people. I wrote this down so I don't miss anybody. Try not to. I'd like to thank Bill Kell Racing Engines, building a great engine. Actually put 2 full seasons on a super stock modified motor, which doesn't happen too often. So great engine there. Brian Cook made the trip. Does my cylinder heads, does a great job. I'd like to thank Farron at Hoosier, great tire. I'd like to thank Alex and Ray Miller for all their help throughout the season and support. I'd like to thank Ron Troutman and family for all their support. Craig and Kevin Marshall for making the trip out from Columbus, thanks. And Sunoco Race Fuels, and Marco Abruzzi. I'd like to congratulate all the other winners tonight, and everybody have a safe trip home. I heard there's a little snow coming, so thanks a lot.
Competition Eliminator, one of my favorite categories. I love it just for the competitive nature of think it, build it, let's go race it. This year was pretty competitive here in the division, as it always is. Greg Chaplain kicked off the season with the win at the Gator Nationals, added a division win at Route 66 Raceway. Carried him to a third place in the division and a ninth place in the national championship. Our comp runner-up, Brian Brow, had a late start, was down on horsepower at the beginning of the season, and finally got a little bit of power out of the V6, finished strongly. 2 runner-up finishes at season-ending races down in Division 4, and including a new national record for the category, or for the class, I should say. Helped him finish second in the Division 3 standings. But tonight, your Division 3 Comp Eliminator champion, Troy Galbraith. Troy, come on up. It's the second division championship for Troy, who moved over from Top Dragster to Comp Eliminator after his 2011 Spitzer Race Cars Top Dragster Series championship. Jim Evans tunes the car to win not only the division this year, but the JEGS All-Star event, along with division races at St. Louis and Bowling Green. So congratulations, and here is your 2016 Comp Champion. Troy?
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all the champions tonight. As we've often heard, even this evening, to increase your likelihood of success, surround yourself with great people. Well, you'd be hard-pressed to find better people than those seated right here in these 2 tables, tables 15 and 23. I'm very fortunate to have my beautiful wife, Connie, our 2 great boys, Tyler and Logan, here with me this evening, as well as my mom and my dad, other family members and friends. Our crew guys, Big Rick Hughes, Little Rick Allison, Chuck Ridenauer, Morgan Wood. They are some great racers and even better friends. Sitting at our tables this evening, we have fellow comp racers, Greg Chaplain and Craig the Champ Bourgeois. So amongst our little group of 20, that puts me a solid 3rd in Comp Elite. I can't thank enough car owners, Jim and Phyllis Evans. I love being in your race car, and I love the pressure that comes with your high expectations. You see, come race day, nobody wants to win worse than Phyllis. And away from the track, there are few, if any, that work as hard or pay as great attention to detail as Jim does. That car is absolutely flawless every time we roll it out of the trailer, and I'm a lucky guy for getting to sit in the seat. Several years ago, we made the JEGS All-Stars in Top Dragster, and this year we became All-Star champions in Comp Eliminator. I'd love to thank the JEGS organization for their past and continued support of that prestigious event. As Bob also mentioned, this year for the first time we qualified for the 4-car shootout in Bowling Green. To be a part and a participant of this year's event honoring Division III King of Comp, Jerry Arnold, was very, very special. And I want to thank Mike and Karen Spitzer, as well as Wayne at Indy Gear for sponsoring that event and making it very, very special. I also want to thank Mike and Karen and all the folks at Spitzer for providing Jim and Phyllis and for me to drive a great race car, very competitive race car. I'd like to thank Brian and Deb Brow for all they do year in and year out with the comp fund. That helps a lot, and racers very much appreciate it. Jay Hullinger and the Division III team, For professionalism and hard work, you guys set the bar, and we race all around the country, and I can really say you guys do a great job. And of course, lastly, want to thank Lucas Oil for sponsoring sportsman racers across the country. I'd like to close with just a quick story to tell you why this championship means so much to me. Back in 2007, I attended my first Division III banquet. I was runner-up in Super Comp. And that year, Bob Bailey, when it came time to accept his championship speech, they gave him a bowling ball, of all things. Well, back when I was 9 or 10 years old, my grandpa would often pick me up on a weeknight and take me with him to his bowling league. He'd give me $2 or $3 so that I could play pool or air hockey, and when I'd spent all the money, I'd get to go hang out with him and the guys. On the way home, we'd stop at McDonald's and eat quarter pounders with cheese. It was a school night. I got to stay out late. You get it. Well, at the time that Bob was giving his speech in 2007, I never thought that I'd actually be able to have the opportunity to be in a comp car, let alone one that was of the quality to win a championship. In the years to come, today and in the years to come, as I look at that bowling ball, I won't think about racing. I'll think about being 10 years old, eating quarter pounders with my grandpa. I got to see a bowling ball in 2011 when I gave this speech in Top Dragster. I got to see it in 2012 when my son gave a speech for winning the Junior Dragster Divisional. And I got to see that ball last year having finished second in Comp Eliminator. So it pleases me a lot to have the opportunity to give Jim the trophy and the jacket. I got to give the check to Phyllis. And to be able to give that bowling ball to my grandpa. Thank you.
Wow, what can you say? Congrats. Grandpa, congrats. All right, moving on. Alcohol funny car competition this year. All I can say was pretty crazy. Top 5 racers in the category. Really duked it out. Your defending funny car champion, Todd Robertson, struggled a little bit out of the gate, bounced back to finish 5th in the points chase. Tony Bogolo finished 4th in the chase, getting the runner-up spot at Norwalk at the Cavalcade of Stars. Earned a spot for the JEGS All-Star team as well. Chris Foster towed over from Davenport, Iowa to finish 3rd in the division this year. Runner-up finish at National Trail at Columbus. 2-time North Central champ, qualified at all 6 of the events, and that helped carry him to that 3rd place finish. Top alcohol funny car, final 2 contestants. Talked earlier about Andrew getting his round or getting his division win at the first race of the season. Well, our champion this year basically got his win at the 2nd race of the season, because your 2nd place finisher, Scott McAlvey, won the event from Indy and DNQ'd on the same lap for the race at Norwalk. Will Hanna, crew chief on the car, says, "Bob, will you shut up about it? I get tired of hearing about it." But it was one of the more unique rounds of competition I've ever witnessed. You win an event and you DNQ on the same lap. And that helped open up the door to what turned out to be a slugfest for the Alcohol Funny Car Championship this year. It was actually decided in Noble, Oklahoma at the final Division 4 race, as both Scott and your champion, Andy Bowl, went to the final round to duke it out in Noble, Oklahoma for the Division 3 championship. And ladies and gentlemen, your Division 3 champion is Andy Bowl. Andy, come on up, man. He gets to carry number 9 on the car next year, but if that doesn't work out, he can scrape number 9 off and put number 31 on, because he is your 2016 Alcohol Funny Car champion.
Thank you, guys. I guess who I want to thank first. What? Am I standing weird? Come on. Give me a break. He told me I can't follow him up, so it's a failure anyway. Anyway, yeah. I guess who I want to thank the most is Steve Sanchez, for 2 big reasons. One is the cylinder heads on the car. Obviously, the car's way faster now than it was last year. The body made it faster, but the work that he did over the winter making these heads, I mean, the car goes 267 easily, so that's part of it. The other reason is him hooking me back up with Frank. That was huge, and you are a very big part. Frank has been on my team 2 times, the only times that I won the championship, so thank you, Frank. I have to tell one more story about Frank. This gives you the most confidence sitting in a car. It just makes you so happy. This is Noble. We're sitting, getting ready to start the car. Click, click, click. Noble. That was Noble. Was it? No, was it? Okay. Anyways. Well, all the races run together, but here's what happened. So we're sitting there. Was it Reading? Who was I racing? Pomponio? First round in Reading? We could have went to that race and never. Anyway, okay, here we go. Thank you, Todd. Car doesn't start. Here's what Frank does. This is what a great racer does. He's like, Tracy, but whoever's there, new battery, new starter, new cables, now, do it. In 10 seconds, the car was starting. I had a chance to win. That's important. I mean, so you're sitting in the car and the thing doesn't start. How do you feel? You're like, you're gonna lose. And it gave me tons of confidence. Thank you, Frank. Thank you again. Tracy Diekfuss, been with me since the beginning. Always does a good job. Change your, schedule around at work to come race, and I appreciate it. Their family have been with me since the beginning. Alex Diekfuss, he's not here. Crews for Del Worsham. Blow the car up heading into the final against Shane Westerfield. Sitting there in my crew waiting, along with the Wilkersons, Gimme. They're all sitting there waiting, ready to fix my car so I can make it to the next round. How does that make you feel? You know what I mean? It's amazing. Becky, you look gorgeous. She comes to all the races, packs the parachutes, moral support, brings me food to the race shop, work the normal job till 5 o'clock, go work on the race, till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, whatever it takes. Brings food there. I mean, that's priceless. Thank you. Warren, thank you for wearing that tie that's flashing red. Turn it on, Warren. There you go. He brings the comedy to the team. He's a good friend. I thank you for coming. You do a great job. One more story, then I'll be gone. So, another good thing that Frank does, like I don't think about these things. You start the car up, you got these Taylor covers you put on it. First run of the day, everything's cold. Put the cover on it, keep the heat in it. Okay, win the round, come back, take the big fan out, cool the motor off now, make it the same as the one before. Warren's back there, turns fan off. Frank turns, who's jerking around? Who's doing this? What's going on? Goes back, turns the fan back on. Warren goes behind it, takes the plug, unplugs it. Frank turns around. I'm like, is he going to get mad and yell at Warren, or is he going to laugh? He laughs. But that's Warren. So, but thank you, Warren, for coming. Todd and Jackie Venny, thank you for coming to Indy. Stay at their house, very hospitable. Todd is a very good friend of mine, possibly my best friend. You probably are. Taught me a lot about drag racing when we first started. He was my friend when I knew nobody in drag racing. Taught me a lot about racing. You did. Also, is this taking too long? One more story. Okay, then it's over. Okay. So Todd Venny lives in Indy. We're at this Indy race, and Chris King drives up from Chicago. He goes, "You better win this race." It's a Monday. It's a rain date. Those two and me win Indy and beat Manzo in the final. You two are awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that one's kind of tough too. In a different way. Todd, you're almost, I think you've got it. All right, alcohol dragsters. We get close to wrapping this up for the evening. And we crown our champion one more time. This time the long, skinny, quick cars, the alcohol dragster field. Robin Samsel had a career best performance with brother Tony tuning his A-Fuel dragster. Finished out regional points with a runner-up at Beech Bend, finished 5th. Jared Dreher finished 4th this year in the competition. Familiar spotting for them as they've been 4th now in 3 out of the last 4 years. Next year, I guarantee you they're gunning for that number 1 spot. 3rd place went to 3-time alcohol dragster champ Marty Thacker. Came out of the gate swinging with the season opening win there at the Indy race that we actually finished at Norwalk that night. Then picked up some round wins in Joliet and Columbus to finish for number 3 in the points for the 2nd time. Our top 2 were the exact same top 2 as last year. In fact, if you look real close, the top 5 were the exact same top 5 as last year. Brandon Boer finished 2nd this year. Again, giving chase to the very end, hauling it down to Noble, Oklahoma for the race to see if he could pick up some round wins and a championship for the division. Gave it another good shot and came in 2nd 2 years in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, she's been up on stage a couple times already for a national championship or Super Gas. Now we get to bring her back on stage for a division championship in alcohol dragster. Miss Mia Tedesca. Mia? $10,000 in NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series point money, a Wally, a Lucas jacket, all goes to the young lady driving the Cars Protection Plus, Rada Motorsports A-Fuel dragster. Wasn't a perfect year. They had their ups, they had their downs, but she's on stage and she gets to carry the championship through next year. Mia?
Well, hello again. So much of what I said earlier this evening also applies to this award. My team of Jason and Cristy were every bit as essential in winning this alcohol championship as with the Super Gas one. But in this category, we had so many additional people working together to make this achievement possible. Dave Harada and his parents Kenny and Chio, Molly Tucker, Grayson, Chris, or I'd like to say Lulu, Wells, JR, and Phil. My heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for your amazing thinking, remarkable skill, and unbelievable patience. In the heat of the moment, and even when things weren't so hot, knowing that such a tremendous team was behind me made all the difference. Remember when I mentioned earlier about how I like to poke around, ask questions, and learn as much as I can about things? Well, Grayson and Lulu can back me up on that statement. I know I drove them crazy, hanging around as they worked on the engine, and I mean literally hanging around, hanging on the torque wrench, trying to torque the heads while they were trying to work. I'll get it next year, guys. I'm working on it. To my sponsors, once again, let me offer my appreciation for all you do. We have 2 additional sponsors to this one, like I talked about earlier, NGK and Scable Motors. Thanks for your support. It means so much, and I'm happy we could bring this championship home for you. And as always, my family and the faith we share provide the foundation for everything else, a fact that never leaves my heart, mind, and soul. A sense of always moving ahead, looking for the next challenge, helped me make the crossover from supergas to alcohol. Having finished in the top 10 in the world over the past 2 years was a wonderful surprise. Finishing first in this region back-to-back years outshines even that. On our team, we like to say that we never truly cross the finish line. There are always more challenges ahead. Please believe me when I tell you that we are all so happy to be working and racing and enjoying this great sport alongside each of you, and never more so than right now. Thank you. God bless.
Well, how about it? Round of applause for all your champions this evening. "50 years, the 50th annual Division III Awards Banquet. I want to thank everybody for letting me be a part of it. Kevin McWilliams, thank you with Lucas Oil for being a part of it. Don't forget racers, Lucas Oil is stepping up the contingency program to the Division Series this year. My understanding is we can sign up online shortly, be able to sign up online shortly. So, I got to talk about the Forbes family too? Really? David and Matt? Jeez. Thanks, guys. We appreciate all your help as well. The Forbes family are Lucas Oil reps here in the division as well. Jay, your script is 42 pages long. We're down to page 41. I'm done. It's all yours, Sparky. Take it home. Folks, thank you all very much. We've got a couple more awards to present. Jay's going to take care of that. I want to thank each and every one of you for welcoming me into the division this year. Looking forward to being back next year and getting to know a few more faces to go along with names and having some more fun. And hey, you never know. We might crown our first champion at the first race out in Indy. Did it this year. We can do it again next year. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Bob, and we would certainly like to extend our thanks to Lucas Oil. Kevin?
First, on behalf of Lucas Oil Products, we'd like to congratulate all the champions, thank all the participants in Division III, thank Jay and his crew, the staff at Division III, for everything they do, the tracks for providing great facilities, and I want to add, too, that I did get a text from my wife that there is some slick roads out there, so be careful afterwards, so be careful going home. And Merry Christmas. See you next year. Thank you.
As we draw closer to the end of the evening awards, we'd like to remind our Lucas Oil champions and our Summit Racing Series champions. We'd like to have you back up on stage for a group photo of each of those groups. And now for a very special award, our Winner's Person of the Year. Over the years, we have recognized a number of individuals for outstanding accomplishments or contributions to the NHRA drag racing here in the land of the winners. Last year, we honored Warren Evans for his D3 TV production, which, by the way, will be airing tonight's ceremony beginning, I think, next weekend. Is that correct, Warren? Yes, sir. Okay. So look to our division website for D3 TV. While there are certainly a number of worthy candidates for tonight's honor, I can't believe that it would be to come to anyone's surprise of tonight's honoree in light of her 3 championships, other than maybe herself. Tonight we present the Land of the Winners Person of the Year Award to Mia Tedesco.
I know you guys are sick of me, but this has truly been the best year. You're not really supposed to be speechless during a speech, but I am. Thank you guys. I'm blessed and humbled. Thank you all.
Again, we'd like to thank our Lucas Oil Summit Racing Series champions, our JEGS Super Quick, our junior champions at all of our groups. We hope that you've enjoyed the evening's Land of the Winners Awards Banquet. Our congratulations again to all of those champions. Just down the hallway here at the Brickyard, we have our Winners Party celebration to continue on. We hope you'll join us for that. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all. Please drive carefully on your way home. Good night, everybody.